So what are some different ways that we can get real estate conversations? I'll open it up.
Mojo.
Yep. Mojo. So let's pause on that. The script would look something like this. Hi, sir. My name's Melody. I'm with Keller Williams, and I have a buyer looking to purchase a home in your neighborhood. Do you know of anyone, or are you yourself maybe interested in selling your home soon? They respond, or they even hang up on you. If they said yes, or if they said hello, you can count that as a real estate contact. So Mojo, good. What else? How else can we get real estate contacts?
Face-to-face, one-on-one. Okay, and going, oh, you're a realtor? Yeah, are you looking for a home? You know what the market's doing right now. And then you just roll from there. I got a buyer right now from her parents.
Love it. It's two-way conversation and it's face-to-face. Old school, baby. What other ways?
Open house.
Perfect. That's where they all come to you, right?
Yeah.
Networking groups, like meetups.
Yeah. Good.
For sell by owners.
Cool.
Contacting your core.
Yeah. Those are the best calls right there. People that already know and love you. One thing I challenge, I don't know that I've said this on the actual group coaching call. I've said it in office hours a couple of times. If you're not attending office hours, guys, we have more fruitful discussions in the Tuesday and Thursday office hour calls than sometimes we do on here. It's awesome. So I want to challenge you all to attend the office hours if you can. If not, I understand. But one of the things we've talked about is this thing that I'm doing on my team where we're reaching to every single Facebook contact that we have, and we're just sending a Facebook message. I'm starting out in the A's. I'm through the B's now and onto the C's, but it's proving fruitful. I just send everyone a message with a script that looks similar to this. It says, hey there, hope you're doing well. It's been a long time since we've talked, or maybe we've never talked, but I have a goal this year of touching base with every single one of my Facebook friends. And I'm just wondering how you're doing. How's life treating you? I leave it at that. And then I let them respond. And the beautiful thing is they can do it at their own convenience, at their own time. The conversation almost always, they'll respond with, hey, I'm good. How are you? Then I get a chance to go into, hey, I'm doing great. I'm in real estate now. Or I'm more fluid, like, hey, are you still in the area? The conversation almost always, though, gets to the point where we talk about real estate. And then I have a two-way conversation. I picked up a buyer last week from somebody's mom. I wasn't even Facebook friends with this person, but they're like, yeah, I heard you're in real estate right now. I see all your posts. And this is a person I've never heard from in the past. So I never see that she's knowing that I exist. But she's like, I actually have a daughter who's looking for a home and looking for a realtor right now. So boom. How much did that cost me? $0. And I just copied and pasted it 100 times. Mm-hmm. Super easy. Other avenues to get two-way conversations: door knocking, events. I'm probably leaving a million things out there, but the contest is simple. Keep track of all of the real estate conversations that you have. And at the end of the month, whoever is our winner, I'll give you $100 gift card wherever you want one to. $100 in your pocket. Let's have some fun with it, though. I'm going to be your biggest cheerleaders, because the reason that I'm doing this, guys, is to promote doing our one big thing. Real estate contacts. That's where our one big thing lies. Lead generation. Cool. What do we have for the group? What questions do we all have?
Can you hear me, Josh?
Yes.
Okay. One thing I put in the form that I filled out so far, I haven't gotten any like big buyers that are willing to throw out a bunch of money to get these houses, but I have 2 potential first-time buyers, but they're very discouraged in the market. How do you keep that person and know that you'll eventually find them something, but right now they don't have the capital to put down? How do you work with people like that to keep them?
Yeah. First off, I can totally identify and commiserate with you. It's challenging, especially for a first-time buyer without a bunch of liquid assets. So the thing that I do is I touch base with that person once a week. I just say, hey, I know nothing really hit the market that's in our ballpark this week, but I'm keeping my eyes peeled. When you stay in touch with that person, that builds rapport, builds relationship. But then I also try to throw in once every couple of weeks, hey, here's what I'm doing proactive to try and find you a home. This week, I scoured Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace for anything that might not be on the market. The next week, hey, I called 4 for sale by owners in the area, and I think we might have a lead. They just need to know that you're working for them, and then they would be stupid to leave you.
Okay.
My experience is they won't leave you if they know that you're still engaged with them. But if 3 weeks go by and they haven't heard from you, then what good are you to them, honestly? We're not earning our keep at that point. One week I would say, hey, I looked at expired listings, and I'm going to make some phone calls this week. Or, hey, let's approach this a little bit differently, Johnny. Like, have you thought about looking at homes that are maybe, a tier or 2 below where you want to end up, so that we might actually stand a chance in a bidding war at having a little bit of extra cushion? Or, hey, Johnny, have you thought about a fixer-upper instead? Or, hey, Johnny, have you thought? But if each week I'm coming at that person with a question or 2, it shows that I'm engaged and I'm still working for them.
Okay, that's good.
Any other advice from the crew?
That's where like the finding houses that might need some work to be done on them. A lot of people are shying away from them, but if you understand the dollars and cents that you could do it, it doesn't hurt to go into the one that I got that was a lower market price. We had a bunch of stuff we asked for the request for remedy, and they actually agreed to it.
You could also look at a rehab loan too.
Yep.
Cool. Good stuff, guys. Thanks. And that was a good call out, Courtney. Thank you.
I have a question. Has anybody used a rehab loan lately? Have you done that, Casey?
No, so the one that we're doing now, he's been able to finance it because of the equity that's in the house. But I've got somebody that does those and has had really good success from. So if you guys need a lender for that, from U.S. Mortgage, from Christian Foot is the guy that I would use.
Okay, thank you.
Are you referring to like a FHA 203K?
Yeah, but I think there's other straight rehab loans aside from that too.
Either that or pre-construction. Like if you're doing construction, you have a period. They're using them for the auto condo things that we're doing because they have to have them built out. So what it is they pay their interest, but they don't pay the principal part of it for the period of the construction, is what kind of the structure that it is. But again, it's good to touch base with a lender if you want to have information about that.
Okay. Yeah. If ever you have questions, just holler at a lender. Any lender will be able to answer basic questions if you've got questions about how these things work. I know that there are certain extra hoops that you have to jump through, especially if you're dealing with a 203K. But what the 203K does is allows you to add in construction costs to your loan so that you can deal with things after you've closed. But you have to get contractors involved and stuff. So little experience there. I was hoping an agent was on. We just had a scenario where a newer agent went to closing, and I want to broach this subject because you'll all have closing soon. If you keep working hard, I promise you'll have closing soon. And y'all need to know what to bring to closing. If you're representing the buyer and there is earnest money, you have to bring the earnest money. It's very simple. You deposited the earnest money most likely to your brokerage. About 3 or 4 days ahead of the closing, you're just going to request that earnest money back. For those of you at Excel, you can do that through dotloop. There's an earnest money request form. If you're not tech savvy, you can always go into the office and physically ask the MCA for it, or you can fill out a piece of paper. It says earnest money request form and put it in the mailbox. Same over at Capital Partners. There should be something in DocuSign that's an earnest money request form. Okay. Money.
Sorry. I have been writing into my contracts the earnest money to be held by the title company, and it just takes a step out and makes life a lot easier if that is all right with the seller.
Absolutely. Whatever way you go, just make sure earnest money is accounted for in some capacity. So that's kind of one of those like checklist items. If I was building a checklist of what do I need before closing, I need to make sure I get earnest money squared away. What else do we need to get squared away before closing? For our buyers, let's say we're representing a buyer.
Inspection period, request the remedies finished.
So you want to verify that the remedy agreements have been executed, right?
Correct.
When would be the best time to do that?
As soon as it's complete.
Yep.
As soon as it's complete, or you can get invoices, but you really want to visually verify that everything's right on your final walkthrough. Yeah.
When you kind of need to know before that though, in case something wasn't correct.
Yeah, you should, but you always want to check the checker. So the other agent's always going to say, "Oh yeah, that was fixed."
Right.
Well, on my final walkthrough, I'm gonna inspect what I expect, right? So final walkthrough should be held a maximum of 2 days prior to closing. You don't want to. I don't like scheduling a final walkthrough the morning of closing, because if something's wrong, that leaves us no time to fix it. I normally schedule mine, like, especially if a closing's on a Monday or Tuesday, I'll schedule it for a Thursday or Friday, give myself plenty of time to get in there. And if we see anything wrong, boom, we got multiple days to fix it. What else do we need to have prearranged before closing? Katie, you're the whiz at all this stuff, so you feel free to jump in.
I was just gonna say, if they'd like, I'm happy to share the checklist we've created for buyers and sellers, just as something that's useful for you guys. Yeah, there's plenty of good information on them. Good.
Thank you.
If you're interested in receiving that, reach out to Katie and she'll send it right away. The things I'm looking for are utilities. You should prearrange for your buyers and also your sellers to get utilities out of their name if they're the seller and into their name if they're the buyer. And it's not always easy, especially if you're dealing with rural properties. There's no telling who services what utilities. In the city, it's a little bit easier. But I normally just about a week ahead of time, back when I was starting up, I would reach out about a week ahead of time to the other agent and say, hey, can you please get me utility information? The other agent will then ask their client for that information. Other things.
Can I jump in on that actually? Because I do that a lot. I reach out to the other agents. a lot of times don't like just reach out once and forget. Most agents I reach out to don't respond the first time, and I have to reach out like 2 to 3 times. So I recommend like setting a reminder after you reach out to them, like maybe the first time, to reach out a second time in case they haven't responded within like a couple days, because I normally have to reach out more than once. Just heads up.
Hey, Katie, I'm going to ask you this knowing the answer, but this is going to be helpful for our other solo agents who don't have an awesome admin like you. So when you first go into contract, how do you keep track of all these things? Is there some sort of system you have in place?
Yes, indeed. I'm glad you asked. So when we first go into contract, I take the time to go through the contract. We have a little timeline set out, and I create a timeline that I send not only to our buyers, but to the title company, to the lender, to the selling agent, and just make sure that everyone's on the same page, so that everyone knows this is the dates I have for these things to be done. Are we all on the same page that this will be done by this date? And then I go a step further to put a calendar reminder into my Google Calendar so that it's popping up on my phone. Hey, this is supposed to be completed by this date. And if it's not completed by that date, I'll either reach out to Josh if it's like his transaction and say, hey, this isn't completed, or I'll deal with it myself if it's something I can just reach out to the title company or the lender and figure out. But highly recommend Google Calendar reminders for important dates that are associated with transaction.
And I love that because it takes the guesswork out, and you're doing it right away. So let's say we go into contract today. It's Thursday. Yay, us. Congratulations. Let's take an evening to celebrate. Let's go grab a drink or whatever. Awesome. The next day is pretty critical in the lifespan of the transaction. So during the morning, you're going to wake up and you are not going to jump into this transaction. If you jump into this transaction, you're doing the wrong thing. What should you wake up and do first thing? Lead generate. Generate leads, okay? This admin can wait till the afternoon. So you get through your lead generation time, and then 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock comes, then you start to create what Katie was just talking about. That is a checklist of a timeline checklist, basically. It should only take you, honestly, it'll probably take you 10, 15 minutes to create that. Send it out to the title company, the other agent to verify that the dates are correct. But then go the extra mile, like Katie was just saying. Do all this work within that hour that it would take to get this done. And then you can kind of rest easy because you're not going to forget about things as closing approaches. One other thing that I like to make sure that we have squared away prior to closing is how we're going to situate the key situation. The keys and the garage door openers, that's kind of important. And sometimes it's still a moving target. Like if possession's been extended a couple weeks, like you're obviously not getting the keys right then and there at closing. It'll happen after possession, but it's important to be on the same page with the other agent so that your buyers or sellers know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm also happy to share the timeline and everything that we have, so you guys don't have to, like the Board of Realtors has a timeline, but ours is a little bit more straightforward that I think is easier for a buyer to read. I'm happy to share it with you guys as well, so you guys can kind of shamelessly steal, as Josh would say.
Yeah. We are all a resource for one another. Thank you so much, Katie. Good insight.
Yeah.
Lastly, you show up to closing with all these things done. You got your earnest money check. As the buyer's agent, what are you telling your buyer to bring to closing?
Valid driver's license.
Valid is important.
Money.
Yep. They need to have scheduled their wire transfer if it's over how much?
10,000.
Yep. Anything over 10,000 needs a wire. Anything under can be a cashier's check. But make sure that the money's in like that everyone understands the money situation. at least, 4 or 5 days ahead of time, because you can schedule a wire. I would hate to have a 9 a.m. closing and not have wired those funds. You're delaying everything, making it harder. So don't make things harder, make things easier. That's what these systems that we're talking about are so important. Katie, would you mind typing your email into the chat? Some folks are asking for your email so they can get that checklist.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right, so we all feel a little bit more comfortable about going to closing. I need earnest money. I need to have my ducks in a row, and my buyers need IDs and money. And then you show up and you kiss babies and make a good name for yourself and give them a gift and give them a handwritten card saying thank you so much. And then you post something on social media because you want the world to know what a successful realtor you really are.
Just a funny story. I had a closing a couple weeks ago and someone didn't know how to spell their middle name for the papers. A grown adult.
Wow.
Well, you run into all kinds of things. And I mean, you never spell it right. You never write it for sure. I can barely write my middle name, and it's simple. It's David, but I've never write a cursive D in my life. Then you get your slow signers, and you'll also get people that like to read. This is a serious touch point here. If you have if you have clients that like to read every word, get your closing documents early from the title company so that you're saving everyone an hour and a half of their life, okay? It would take somebody forever to read through all the documents, but if you get them ahead of time, you're helping your client have ample amount of time to read through, and you're helping out the closer, and you, for the sake of time, saving yourself some time at closing.
I'd be interested in hearing some ideas of what people use as closing gifts.
Discussion?
I'd like to know as well.
Like a gift card to a restaurant, like a $100 gift card to a restaurant.
I think it should be something personal for each person. It's like the one I did to journey with a photo book for her.
You're breaking up a little bit. You said something personal, something like a book.
Yeah, well, it was a photo book, but it was the photo frames, ones where you can add pictures of it, so it shows everything through that, but her kids can digital frames.
That's cute. Erica just mentioned like maybe a gift card to a restaurant in that area, the new area that they're moving to. Not a bad idea.
Or if they're talking about like a specific project that they're excited to get started on, a gift card to help them kick that off, like to Oakland Nursery or to Lowe's or.
Great idea. My question my first year was what's a good dollar amount? Honestly, I try and keep it around that $50 to $75 range. If you've got somebody who means a whole lot to you, go crazy. Just don't go spend $1,000 on the person. Obviously, like we have to play red light, green light with our money. We still need to be profitable. Melody, the thing that I give to all my clients, I have a kind of a deal worked out with a vendor who creates these signs. They're cutouts of the state of Ohio, and in it say home. And it's kind of rustic barnwood, and it's kind of in style these days. They can do all kinds of different designs too. Some of them say like, this is where it all started if it's their first time buying a home. So that cost me about $60 to $70. Other things that I've done in the past, if I know that they're drinkers, I'll get them a nice bottle of bourbon or a nice bottle of wine. Mm-hmm. The best idea that I've heard yet, I've not actually done myself. So here it is. Why not throw a home warming party for the person?
Yeah.
So you say, hey, I'm not going to give you a closing gift. Instead, I'm going to invite all your friends over so that we can celebrate your new house. And subliminally, what you're doing is getting a chance to meet 20 or 30, however many people you invite, of their closest friends. And they're going to be raving about you to all their friends, and your friends their friends get a chance to meet you. You get a chance to meet them and expand your network, all for the cost of a pizza party, right? Maybe you spend $100 on pop and beer, chips, and some pizza.
I've heard invite the neighbors too, so they can get to know the neighbors and you.
It's a no-brainer. Yeah, I
great
guess
idea.
I'm just too stupid to actually follow through with it. I just need to bite the bullet and do it. But how awesome would that be? You're infusing yourselves into their lives, way past the transaction.
Right.
Some other options. I've used this in the past. You're getting professional photos made anyways if you're the listing agent. So what if on the listing side you took one of those professional photos and you got it blown up, so they can take it with them to their next house. If they like started their family in that initial home, wouldn't that be something nice for them to look back and remember, and the kids to carry on for generations? Also, I put my business card on the back a lot of times so that if ever they forget me, they can remember me. Great question. And there's no right answer. A lot of people will, like some companies like Things Remembered, they can engrave special dates or stuff on things. There's that Cutco company that does knives. Who wouldn't love a nice like a paring knife? I don't know knives, but a steak knife or something that you're going to use that's engraved with your name. That'd be pretty cool. Those get pricey though.
I had a friend that used to take a laundry basket on the day that they moved, and she put in all kinds of like garbage bags, paper towels, toilet paper, all kinds of stuff that you need on the day you move, but you usually have it packed and not out and ready to go. So all kinds of cleaning stuff or whatever. And that was a real success too.
So cool. Some people give away Ring doorbells or like Google Nests or like home related electronic things that, you know, nobody actually wants to buy that themselves. So it's a nice gift. Cool. All right, moving on. What other questions do you guys have or issues you're facing? Anyone having crazy success doing something right now? Nobody's successful? Come on, guys. I know you all have stuff in contract.
Could you say that again? I didn't hear you.
Anyone having good successes? Drew, are you on? Drew, can you talk? I want to pick on him if he can hear me. I know he's got a full-time job. Drew is a dual career person, and he has been licensed for like 2 weeks. And he's already got a buyer and a potential seller. And he's just doing this through word of mouth. And I was just going to pick his brain to see if there's anything in particular he's doing. Chris, you haven't been licensed much longer. You got 2 in contract. You're finding success. Why?
Just grinding it out and stepping out of my comfort zone and making sure that I'm taking this seriously, not just as a side hobby, but as an actual business and running it as such.
What you said there that resonates with me is getting out of your comfort zone. On office hours, we were talking about lead generation, and he said, I'll use your words, you know, like cold calling. We had the Mojo conversation earlier. It's one of those things that at first you don't feel comfortable with it, but you exercise that muscle and it becomes a strength to the point where you kind of have a withdrawal if you're not doing it. All right, guys.
I haven't like done this, but I was speaking with someone who's an agent that I know, and she was saying that like for herself, like when someone refers her and her husband business, they're like a team, that they like, in order to like continue that referral relationship and make sure that the referral knows that like they're important to them or basically valued, they like when the person closes that they referred on the home, they'll like send them a like plate of brownies or like some sort of cookies to like say, hey, thanks for the referral, this person closed on their home, like we really appreciate you type thing.
That's great. And one thing to that point, I just something I do is every Christmas time, I get these, I normally get like $100 gift card or something, like a Visa gift card. They can spend it anywhere. And I put it in a Christmas card and I handwrite a note saying, I appreciate you so much for helping me with my business. One thing I did starting this year also was kind of create a scoreboard of sorts where people know, like, hey, this person's getting recognized for referring Josh business. I need to keep my eyes peeled too. And if people know that you're going to reward those, kind of like Katie's saying, but with food, heck, that's great. Or with a thank you, then maybe they'll be more likely to refer you business. All right, we got 5 minutes left, guys. I want to, I'm starting to create the itinerary for the next month or so, and would love to hear what topics you guys would like to see in upcoming classes.
I think it would be helpful to go over how to handle HOAs and HOA checklists and that kind of stuff for condo sales. I just have been experiencing a lot of trouble with an HOA currently. So I just think it'd be helpful to go over that.
Cool. Yeah, we could do maybe like a condo / HOA class because condos are a little different. Yeah, that's a great idea, Courtney. What else would we like to learn?
Anything you got, honestly.
What would be helpful to you? So let's maybe from like a technology perspective, would it be, are you guys feeling like you understand Command well enough? Is there any functionalities in Command that you need boned up on?
I'm about to freak out because of DocuSign because I haven't really done anything with it.
I don't think you'll have to. I think we're keeping dotloop for a long time.
Yay.
And I believe they're adding functionality for a marriage between Command and dotloop. I believe. I'm not positive.
This isn't about Command, but I'd like to see some examples of listing presentations that people use.
Yeah, cool.
There are listing presentations on Command as well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can just talk through that one coaching though. That'd be good. I know that it'd be good if we maybe did some Command work around opportunities. A lot of us aren't getting paid when we think or when we're expecting to get paid because we're missing steps in our opportunities. And I want to make sure that y'all are getting paid quick. So some of you have closings coming up and they may be your first closings and maybe you don't understand 100% how to go from 0 to paid. So that might be something good too. All right. Well, if you have any other suggestions, guys, I'm all ears. I'll probably send out the itinerary maybe later today. So You got a couple hours to shoot me some ideas. Remember, as we hang up today, we have a contest starting the month of June. How many contacts, real estate contacts, can you get? The winner gets $100. Let's make the most of it. And y'all have a wonderful holiday weekend. Anyone have anything fun going on this weekend?
I have 2 closings tomorrow.
Woo, woo.
Wow.
That's fun.
And 1 today.
Girl.
Thank you.
Killing it. Yeah, money's fun. Well, good. Apparently, you're the only one who's doing anything fun. All of us sticks in the mud will try and live vicariously through you.
And we're doing an adult field day. So we're doing a drinking slip inside kickball situation. Sounds dangerous, but fun.
When and where?
Linden, you're welcome to stop by.
What day is this? That sounds awesome.
Saturday.
It's
I'm making 100 Jello shots for it.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be chilly. You're gonna have some fun, I'm sure.
It'll be fun.
Awesome.
Don't break anything.
I'm prone to breaking things, so I will do my best not to.
All right, guys, have fun. Be safe this weekend. Don't eat Jello shots and drive. Bye.
Bye.